Hey, Teresa. How's it going? I'm hoping that this goes well tonight. I have two little rugrats in there that are fighting sleep. Hi, Overlook Valley. How are you tonight? Hi, Christy. How are you tonight? Finer than frog hair. That's cute. Man, Teresa, David worked me to death today. No, I worked him. We got a lot done. We were both beat. Hi, David. I didn't think you would be here tonight. Hope you got all your stuff done when you got home. Oh my word, did we ever. We changed the aviary that's in the back behind the big starfruit tree. We cut a big, huge hole in the side of it for a door and closed up the door that was on the other end because it was just too. I mean, it. There's no way I could get in or out to get the chickens, and so that's where we're going to put the the broilers until they get a little bit bigger. Um, and I just don't. I'm afraid to let them because I live in the city. I'm afraid to let them out during the day. I mean, during the evening. Oh, okay. Well, I hope you get it done. Don't wear yourself out too much, babe. I want you to know he's a trooper. He came up here and helped me almost all day long. Um, we took all of the broilers outside and cleaned that thingy out. Put fresh bedding and everything in there, and he took the screen door off and fixed it to where it won't. It rained and it caused it to swell, and I couldn't open it properly, so I had to leave it wide open because this house was built for my daughter who was disabled. It has a ramp that goes out the back door, and he had to fix that all up. Hi, Brenda, how are you doing, honey? Hello, Mary Cleveland. Thank you. I need all the subs I can get. um, so we fixed the door so that we can open and close it, and I smashed my finger up really pretty bad, messing with the chickens. Anyways, it was a crazy day. And Laura grabbed a hold of a stick to take it away from Lance, and when she did, somehow it popped him and caught him right here. So he's got a great big old red mark on his right underneath his eye. Praise God it wasn't in his eye. He can't keep his hands off any wood or any stick or anything. He's carrying it around, poking things and poking people, and he's just an everyday boy, I guess. But yeah, so I got up this morning and I didn't get to do my 3-mile walk. I'm gotten up to 3 miles. I could only had time for 1.5 miles today, and only patience enough with the kids. She met me at the park and so I didn't get to do what I wanted to do, but 1.5 miles is pretty good, I think. And even at that, let's see here. So I've walked 3 miles today. Because I walked 1.5 miles and then I walked another 1.5 miles after around the house, running back and forth, back and forth. Let's see, make sure I'm not missing anything. So the reason I can't remember if it was yesterday or today. I think maybe it was yesterday. Today's Wednesday. Yes, yesterday. I met her at her work instead of at the park. The reason why that she had to meet me at her work is because they had a really severe accident on 95 and she couldn't get to work. She made it just on time. If I hadn't met her there, if I'd have met her at the park, she wouldn't have been to work on time. I'll tell you, I've been feeling much, much better if I get up and go and walk every morning. I should be doing it every other day, but I don't know. I still want to do it every day. I'm going to go to the doctor tomorrow, to the cancer doctor, and he's the one that found the blood clot. And I'm going to show him that knot on the back of my leg and ask him what he thinks it is, because it's not hot or anything. And I'm told that if it was a blood clot, it would be hot. So anyways, I am working towards making the money for the deer hunt. I'm figuring the license alone will cost me about $260. And I know it's going to take me at least $240 in gas. So I'm saying roughly I'm going to need to find $500 somewhere. So I'm hoping that next weekend, I think I'm going to try to have a garage sale and see if I can't do anything on that end. And we'll see. I'm not sure if I'm going to pay for the license before I go or when I get there. I have to ask Holland what to do about that. Possibly, I'm sure. I know he has a computer because he's on here sometimes. I don't think he's on yet tonight. But I think that we could actually print it off at his house or something. I don't know how that works, but I just wanted somebody that knows what they're doing to be with me whenever I get my license. I know that sounds crazy, but I always worry about getting in trouble for something that I didn't know I was supposed to do. Let's see here. I agree. Brenda did fantastic on her live stream. That really, really, really was good. And by the way, Teresa, I just got done watching Lee's video. That was funny. He did a good job with that. Sorry that he burnt his eyes, but I'm glad he didn't burn nothing else. Oh, let's see here. What do we got going on? Thank you, Mary, for your prayers. I need lots of prayers. Lee said you will have to buy your out of state license here. Okay. So I can't do it over the internet. Yeah, we all need prayers. That's a definite. I have a list of people that I pray for all the time. And I pray for people that don't even ask for prayers. Because I think, if God's laid somebody on my heart, I think I need to pray for them. And I've got the itchies tonight. I don't know why I'm itching tonight. So I'm trying to go through things and get rid of all the old clothes that don't fit me anymore, because they say one of the things that people do is they save clothes just in case. Well, I'm not going to save anything just in case, because I'm not going to gain this weight back. And I wish I had, I have a, I don't know what you call it, an exercise, an exercise gym thing that's at David's that he's going to bring down here for me one of these days. And he said that I could use this canopy thingy that he's got, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. We talked about me using it. So I thought maybe if I put that gym thing underneath there, maybe I can tone these. I got my daughter Linda and Ashley called these angel wings or bingo wings. Bingo wings. That's what it was. Why did I say angel wings? She says to me, Mama Linda used to say, like the little old ladies playing bingo, they holler and wave their arms and their arms are just shaking. Well, I've got those shaky arms now. So I've got to start working out and tone up my body. Oh, okay. Um, I, I may just call them and ask them more information because I just don't want to do something stupid and get in a lot of trouble that I don't need. Somebody I said I seen some deer on the way home from Virginia, and I mean I think we seen I think it's 8 or 9 deer dead on the way home. Really sad. Makes me very sad that they weren't being utilized. Um, and I said, man, we should stop and see if they're still hot. Because if they were just hit, buddy, you better believe I'd be taking them home. But somebody said, oh, you could go to jail for that, and I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was my sister, but she doesn't always know what she's talking about. She's not always here. Yeah, Roadkill Cafe. Yep, better believe it. Um, um, we had a mishap the other day where one of my dogs got a hold of one of my rabbits, and I butchered it. And I always let my stuff stay in ice, well, overnight, and then I cut it up and put it in the freezer, or I cut it up and used it. Well, the next morning, whenever I got up, it was fermented and it was nasty smelling. When I put it in there, now, I don't know if it was because it was so, um, I mean, he must have shook it, or she must have shook it, I'm sorry, uh, because its whole backbone was all really like mangled after I skinned and everything. It was just like falling apart and stuff. And when I looked at the liver, it looked grainy. Like I've never seen a liver look like that before. So I thought, well, maybe it had worms or something. Um, but I went ahead and put it all into the cooler and put ice on it and put lots of ice. And I don't know, I've never seen anything like that ever ferment like that. Let's see here. Lee said, yeah, yeah, you are supposed to call I in and get temporary tag to take it home. But here, do it all the time. But here, okay. So, um, do you have to have a tag for every single deer that you um kill? Wow, I did not know that. That wow. So, it, let's see. I can't remember how much the tag was. Oh, my license will have several tags. Okay. I'm just wondering if I should wait and get Holland to take me wherever I need to go to get the license. I think I might do that so that he knows what I'm supposed to get and what I'm not, because I'm kind of like, I don't want to get something that's wrong. That's what I'm talking about, David. Higgs' name is Holland. Higgs Farm is Holland. Holland and Lily. That's what you do too? Okay. I will do that. I can miss a morning of hunting and go down and do that. I think that's the best thing. Man, David, you wore me out today. I'm exhausted. I didn't even have time to jump in the shower before the stream because the kids were just, they took forever in the shower, and but they're good. I don't hear them now. Thank God. Maybe they've gone to sleep. And we've actually had some, I wouldn't say, even though it's up in the 80s, it hasn't been unbearable because of the wind. We've had a little bit of wind out there, which makes it feel a little cooler. And okay. David has had some issues with something killing all of his animals. He has been devastated with all the loss this week. First thing was his duck, and it was literally mangled all over the place. Then the next night he had, I want to say he said about 20, I could be wrong, quail in a holding pen for me. And whatever it was, took out every single one of them. And then last night I stopped. I was supposed to go fishing with my son, and I had taken him my Rhode Island Reds, not roosters, hens, so that, because he was down to 4 chickens, and I thought I'd help him out and give him a couple of my chickens. Well, I stopped at David's and picked up his silky male. He had a rooster, and because we live in the city, he was afraid that he would have trouble with the neighbors because he was crowing, and he didn't want to put it down, you know. So I have a really good friend that lives in Port St. John, and she said she wanted him, so, and now he lives in the palace. He wasn't even there no time at all, and he already had his way with 3 little girls. He's a mess. So he's happy. He's king. He's king stuff. So anyways, I got him, and took him down there. So he's down the mail. And unfortunately, last night they got another one of his chickens, and the best laying hen that he had. He's really, 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 really upset with it. He loved that little girl. He could tickle her and she'd ruffle her feathers. It was so cool. He just, I used to hold my chickens and stuff like that, and I still do pick them up and love them a little bit, but I don't really treat them like I do the dogs. The dogs are up in my face all the time. He is thinking it is a critter. It's definitely not a dog. And he's thinking more like a raccoon because whatever it was had to had to open the cage to get in there. So, two of my grown ducks disappeared this week. No sign of them. Wow. I'm sorry, Brenda. David was just totally distraught. He went out there and found it. And then what's really bad about this is it didn't eat the whole thing. It just ate part of it and left it straying out all over the place. Really, really sad. And he's raised these from babies. In fact, this duck was out of the same clutch of eggs that David had hatched. David hatched one egg, and he got a duck, and then he bought another one out of the same eggs that were hatched by somebody else, so that he'd have two ducks because he didn't want them to be by themselves. And now he has no ducks. So it worries me. I hope that he gets a hold of whatever it is. I told him, I said, if that cat food's not, because he put kitty kibble in the trap that Jason from Big Bear Homestead had bought from him, and I told him that he needs to get himself some what is that? Sardines, and put that in there too, because they cannot walk away from sardines. They love them. Possums will eat the inside of them and leave the rest. Huh. Yeah, but possums can't normally get into a locked cage. I wouldn't think. We lost one of our ducks while we were gone to the HOA. I'm sorry to hear that, Red Shed. So anyways, it has been crazy around here this week. I did bring home, I can't remember if he said it's 10 or 11 baby chicks last night to quails, to replace the quails that I'm going to call tomorrow. I was going to do that today, but I'm too tired tonight to do it. Mine are old, and they're they are getting skinny, it looks like, and they're molting, so they're not laying any eggs right now. They haven't been laying very well anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and put them in the freezer. And I like I said, since I'm only allowed, since I'm only allowed 2 ounces of meat. I'm supposed to eat 2 ounces of meat and 1 ounce of other stuff, food, vegetables and stuff like that. I'm really not supposed to have fruit, but I do. Quail, I believe, is going to be right at the right size. And you would not believe how big these broilers are. They're only, let me see how old they are. I want to say David and I talked about this today, and they were 2 weeks old. Oh, 3 weeks old. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yep, 3 weeks today. And they already weigh 11 to, I can't remember, David. What did we say they weighed? I weighed them. Oh my word, there goes my senility again. They were very big. And they don't have all their feathers in yet. But man, was they ever heavy. I could not believe. I could literally I don't remember who it was that I was talking to about making where do I buy Cornish hens? Well, those are Cornish cross hens, evidently, they told me. And so I'm going to next time I'm gonna get more and harvest them, because those little Cornish hens are expensive in the store, and those would make a couple of meals for me. Let's see, the red shed. We had a neighbor dog that killed all my chickens one day. I caught him red-handed in the pen. Needless to say, he never made it back home. Good for you, Brenda. Neighbor's dog took out 2 of our chickens last year and injured one. Yeah, that's why I want to get rid of Ginger, because she got one of my rabbits, and I ain't too happy with her. She's the one that turned on me too. David hasn't taken her to her new home yet. I don't want to see her die or anything like that, but the pound, if he takes her to the pound, they'll probably put her down if he tells them that she's turned on me. So I don't know. She's been really good the last few days. So I don't know. He'll probably wait around until I change my mind. That's the way he does me. Until I get fed up, and then he knows I've had my limits. Boy, when she turned on me the other day, though, when I told her to get out of my room, I wanted to put her down right there. And I did think about this every time she's ever had any kind of bad behavior. It's been when she's in heat. So I'm hoping maybe that's it. But I worry with the kids being here and worry whether they're going to one day do the stupid thing and she bite them. But it's kind of weird because they're rough with her. I mean, really rough with her, and she just licks them, and she's just very good to them. I don't know. It's really weird. Let's see here. Neighbor's dogs come through the cornfield out back and snatches the chickens or ducks from our yard. Trying to clip wings again to keep them all in, but some get out no matter what. Yeah, I clipped my chicken's wings, but that didn't do me no good. Now, they have been staying in the back part um as long as as long as those gates aren't open. So is everything okay, David? Nobody else has been got, or did you find out what was getting everything? I explained what kind of chaos you've been dealing with for the last week. That dog wouldn't disappear in the cornfield if it were me. Yep, and I bet you're a good shot too, huh, Brenda? Yep, coming to that. This must be lagging a little bit because he's not answered me yet if he's back on here. I mean, he said he's back on here, so he either hasn't had a chance to answer me or it's lagging too much. It's frustrating to put time and money into animals and the neighbors' dogs get them. Yeah, and this is what's sad for me too. No, nothing there. May be a dog. I think it's Rocky, and he will take a dirt nap. Okay. Um. Anyways, I don't know if y'all remember me telling you about the neighbors took their tree out and it fell and took out part of my fence. Well, that part of my fence is where the garden is, but the garden gate is open. So the anything can get in my backyard now because there's no fence up front here, even though it goes into the garden. I can't close the garden gate to keep it out of the rest of the backyard. Kathy, let's just say my youngest daughter can shoot a smile face on a target that size of a $50 at 50 yards. I remember Paul telling David about your daughter and her shooting. I used to be a good shot. Now I got glasses, so I'm not that great a shot anymore, I don't think. I'm hoping that I shoot pretty good, but we'll see. Um, so I went out and I don't know if I told David this today or not, or if he noticed it, but I tied the fence, the wire fence, to the part of the lattice fence so that it wouldn't fall down no more and the dogs couldn't get back there where the chickens are. And I put one of this, there was a piece that came out of a bird cage, and it's real heavy metal stuff. It was a drawer, but it has holes in it, made like the sides of my big parrot thingies. It's just a slide. It goes back and forth under in the cage. But I don't have that cage anymore. But I wanted to keep that. I knew I was going to need that for something, so I've been putting that as my door, and the dogs can't push it over to get into the back there on that end either. Let's see. Kathy, how are you feeling lately? Well, like I said, I've been walking every day now. I'm up to 3 miles a day. Today I only did a mile and a half at the park, but I am going to say that I did 3 miles today because walking around, my phone tells me how much steps I do and all that kind of stuff. I never knew it had that on there, but every person who's got an iPhone has a health thing on it, and it tracks how much you walk and so on and so forth. So, it told me I walked 3 miles today, so at least I've done it today. It amazes me how much people don't realize how much they actually walk around their house if they do several trips and stuff like that too. So, I'm feeling much better since I've been walking. Although I do have a knot in the back of my leg that I need to have looked at, and going to the doctor that found the blood clot. So, I'm going to question them some more about that. Which, my doctor got the same report, and she's all in limbo. I haven't heard anything from her except for that. I don't even remember what the nurse said, but it was like, okay, so none of my answer. This is what I said to her. So none of my questions that I asked you to take care of from my cancer doctor are being addressed. So I don't need to come back in to see you to get those addressed. Well, no, we haven't got those answers. They haven't. Stop it. Hey, that's enough of that. They'll just keep on if I don't get on them. None of that got addressed. So I'm a little bit annoyed with that. But I told her, and she knew I was annoyed with her. I told her, I said, don't bother the doctor about this. I'll just go to the doctor that put me on the blood thinners, and I'll ask them all the questions that I need to know. So that's where my health is, and I'm feeling what I'm feeling. Let's see, what have I missed here? I'm not that good anymore, but I can hit the target. Yeah, I'm sure I can hit my target, but I just, I used to shoot skeet and all kind of stuff. I did really well. In fact, they wanted me to um when I was 18, they wanted me to shoot for Patrick Air Force Base team, and I didn't do it. I should have done it. What a stupid move. I could have really gone somewhere with that, but I was young and stupid and didn't know what it was all about. I was just having fun with friends. I have to tuck some kiddos in tonight. Everyone have a nice rest of the week. All right, the Red Shed. Enjoy the rest of your night and the rest of your week. Thanks for stopping in, honey. Um, so I was trying to figure out today. I think I've only got 2 weeks left. Let's see here. Back there. 1, 2, 2 weeks and 3 days before I leave on my trip. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 2 days. 2 weeks and 2 days before I head out to go hunting. Had that plugged in. I guess I can unplug it. It's at 76%. So I can't wait. I'm so excited. I can't I can't remember the last time I was this excited about something. But I am very excited about this. I have I have great hopes that I'm going to bring home enough to fill the freezer, and like I said, I didn't want to break the news, but I'm going to be taking some fish up there and cooking for them. I'm excited too, Brenda. I can't wait. And I can't wait to cook that stir fry like you made too. Now, I need to know what part of the deer was the meat that you made the stir fry with. I'm thinking, Teresa, I'm thinking I'm gonna talk to Holland and let's see if we can't have that the same night you're gonna be there, or same day. I'd like to make um what I normally make with fish is I make baked potato, coleslaw, um corn on the cob, hush puppies, and the fish. Yeah, I know you use deer meat, but what part of the deer? Was it the hind legs? Was it the back strap? Was it the front legs? I mean, I don't know what kind. What piece of meat should be cooked for what? That's what confuses me. It's like I know beef, but um, I don't know. You understand what I'm trying to ask? And do you cut the meat up with Paul, or do y'all take it to a butcher, or how do you do your meat? So, hind legs or hams, but you can use almost any cut of meat for stir fry. Okay, I didn't know that. We butcher our own. Cool. See, that's what I'm so excited about with Holland teaching me. If I have to go and cut up my own and do my own, I'll know what to do. My daughter-in-law is so funny. She will not clean one of my son's fish at all. I, on the other hand, all of my life I've cleaned fish and done everything myself, and I clean rabbits and chickens, and she will not clean anything. It has to be ready or packaged already for her to cook it. I get tickled. I said, I don't know, but I want to know how to clean it. I want to know how to prepare it so that you get the best out of your money, you know? One of these days we all might end up having to be preppers, you know? And I want to know these things. I've had dreams. I don't know if it's because I fear what will happen with other countries and stuff like that. And I've had dreams of hurricanes coming in and wiping everything out and us having to live without electricity and all that stuff. Oh, of course, I have watched shows too that based on the same thing and read the Left Behind series and all that kind of stuff. I know where I'm going. I'm going to heaven before that happens, but you never know what may happen to each country, you know. I think this is a big country, and I think they'd have a good fight on them if they try to come in here and take over us, but you never know. Hey, that's enough of that. Stop it. He ain't gonna stop. I'm sorry, guys. He's being a pain tonight. I should have covered him up. I forgot to do that. But so anyways, thinking about that, you know, I want to know how to do all this stuff. I want to know how to can deer meat and stuff like that. I've never canned any meat yet, and I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I sure wished that I could get with somebody that knew how to do it and did it all the time to actually show me one time through, just because I'm panicky. You know, I worry about stuff. Now, I see ladies on here that fight about you can't can this and you can't can that, and I know Teresa just joined Rebel Canners, and I've joined them I think over a year now. I've been a member of it, and I go on there every once in a while and look at stuff, but stop it. Stop it, I'm gonna cover you up. Okay, I'm sure you can, but I haven't done beef either. So that's why maybe I should just break down and can some stew meat or something like that just to see how it works. Because I am going to start canning everything in the little pint-sized jars. And I think that because I'm going to can this chicken too. I'm going to can quite a few of the chickens when they come through, because I don't want to fill my freezer totally with chickens like that. I got 50 chickens. Need a beer, Teresa? LOL. I am enjoying it. I bet you are. They have some really neat stuff on there. That's the Rebel Canners that she's talking about. Um, so anyways, I need to get that under my belt and start doing it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking about. I don't know. Maybe it is an inside joke. Let's see here. I wanted to talk about some other things. Oh, now that I got you girls on here, the Black Sapotes. They're over there, but I don't feel like getting up. Sorry, guys. I would have to move the computer and everything and stand up and move over there. Just too much trouble. I'm going to explain this. They will stay green. Mine do. Even when they are so ripe and they fall off the tree, they don't always turn that that grayish color. But when really good and they're really soft, then you know that they're ripe. The Black Sapote is what I'm talking about. Right now, mine are still the ones that I cut off after I got back. They're still hard as a rock. The one that I did have here is softer. I have more on the tree that I need to cut off. So I'm hoping that if you guys like them and you want more, well, I can't get it to you as easily, Brenda. I'd have to send it to you somehow. Anyways, we'd have to talk about that. We'd have to come up together somehow to get you some. But I'm hoping that if you like it, Teresa, and you want more of it, I can bring you more, because I'm leaving them on the tree to continue to grow. I think that they will be good all the way up into December, I think, or in the late November. But they haven't started falling off my tree yet. So as long as they're still on the tree, they'll do good. I wished you lived closer to me too, Brenda. I would love to learn. I can a lot of stuff, and I do a lot of stuff, but I still have that fear of something going wrong. Let's see here. Yes, mine are still hard and green. Yeah. Yeah, that's what you said today. Mine has a black spot on it. It should still be all right. Mine do too. That's the way they do. There's nothing, shouldn't be nothing wrong with it. One of mine, oh, yes, one of mine has a black spot on it. Did you tell them about all the soursop seeds you got me? Oh, now I've told you guys many times on different videos, and I know y'all have seen them. I have a wonderful produce stand that I go to, and I get something is going on outside my house now. I don't think I left anybody out. Oh, that's the dog. I'm sorry, guys. Anyways, the produce stand that I go to, I go and I get this giant bag, plastic bag. It's like a plastic bag you go to the grocery store and fill up. It's full, and they tie it at the top, and I pay $1 for it. Well, I got one of those bags, and I didn't really pay attention to the green thing in there. I didn't know what it was, and it was about that size right there. And it was huge, and I'm thinking, what is that? Whenever I got home, and I said, well, you know what? I'm game. I'm going to try this. I know this is a fruit, and I think I know what it is. I think I've eaten it at the Rare Fruit Council before. So, oh, you put my chickens up, David? Or you put your chickens up? Anyways, I got that bag, and I opened it up, and it had let's see, what all did it have? It had 3 bell peppers. Um, 1 was green and 2 was orange. Then it had 2 red hot pepper type thingies. I don't know what kind those was. I want to say they're poblanos or something, some kind of hot pepper. I don't know. And it had that fruit in there, and it had some butter lettuce and a cup of jalapenos, and I don't remember what else. Oh, and carrots it had in there, and something else. Anyways, so yeah, what? Did you put mine up? So anyways, it had that fruit in there, and I cut it up and I started eating, and I put it in a plastic bag. I peeled it all and put it in the refrigerator, and I thought it was absolutely delicious. Very tropical kind of fruit tasting, kind of almost like a pear with a very tropical fragrant taste. It was kind of, I want to say, don't you think it was kind of grainy, David, like a pear would be? But hang on, guys. I'm going to go get that out of the refrigerator just so I can show you. Let's see if I can get all situated back here again. I got the black Spodies while I was at it. And of course I'm clumsy and dropped one. Okay. Back in my seat. Okay, thank you, David. Sorry for all the motion. I hope I didn't make anybody sick. Okay, we're talking about the black Spody. I mean, not the Soursop. Now it's a little, it does like apples do, you know, it turns a little bit, but it is it smells so good. And I would say it's acquired taste, but it's a very good taste. And see these big holes? I don't know if you can see this. Each one of these big holes had a great big brown seed in it. Now, remember, it was this big. This is just a slice of what it, you know, of how it was. See how big it was? And you can look them up. They're pretty cool. But I want to say what was that price, David? Was it $36 they wanted for 1 to 2 pounds of these things? And I paid $1 for the whole great big huge bag of all that stuff. So I really love my produce place. And they do, how do I say this? By them making those dollar bags, they literally are opening themselves so that that was on Amazon that whenever I saw that today, Brenda. They opened themselves and they literally, was it 39? Okay, cool. They literally are giving people that are like me that will try things a chance to try something that they wouldn't try that costs more money for you to spend there. So anyways, I should ask them if they want to buy my I think I will call them and ask them if they want to do this. Maybe do a barter to where they can give me a credit for different things. I can't believe I just thought of that. Okay, so see how this one, mine are not hard anymore as a rock like they were. Remember how hard they was when we first got them? But see how I can push it and it kind of dents, but it really doesn't dent very much. The more it gets soft, the more you can push on it and it will just take your whole finger in. Then you know it's ripe. Don't wait for it to turn gray or brown or whatever it is for that to work. And I can't wait to try this again. I absolutely love weird things. And Teresa, don't let me leave this house without bringing you some star fruit, because I can bring that to you. And hopefully I'm going to get some dry ice so that it'll stay nicer instead of looking like it did when we went to the picnic. So I'm excited all about that too. I really look forward to that. Trying to think. You may have to do a video of what they look like ripe. Yes, I will. Also, Teresa, I promised you a start off of the white double bloom trumpet. How's yours doing, Brenda? Did yours hang in there, or did it not make it? I was really hoping to get that rooted before I left for the HOA, but I just didn't get to it. So I'm hoping that it went ahead and rooted. I probably should have taken some of them leaves off of it. Okay, cool. I'm glad you checked yours, Teresa. Now I want to eat the rest of this. I wish I had one seed to show you how big the seeds are. Oh, there is a seed in here. I want to show you how big these seeds are. I got you another seed, babe. See how big that seed is? I'm like, wow. Oh, I dropped it. But these sourshops are really good for they're supposed to, some people say they're supposed to help with cancer and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I just believe that if you eat good, you eat natural and not all this hocus pocus stuff they're making nowadays. I mean, I could tell you, I helped a fellow that was in his 90s over on the beach side. And I need to go see him too, see how he's doing. But anyways, I talked to him when I was helping him about different things. And one of the stories he told me is he worked, he had a friend who worked as a scientist that worked for one of the big name companies that he was a scientist that did research on how to preserve cakes and stuff like that. And he said literally that they made cakes to where it could sit on the shelf out in the air and everything and didn't mold. They sliced it up and it was over a year old and you wouldn't know anything was different about it. Well, I'm sure we've all heard the stories of Twinkies. Oh, did I say that out loud? Anyways, it wasn't, I don't think it was Twinkies that he was talking about. But yeah. We're putting all them chemicals in our bodies that keeping all this stuff from messing up, and it's messing us up. I'll get off my soapbox. Let's see here. Where was I at? It was really wilted, so I took all but a couple leaves off, hoping it will bounce back. Me too, because I won't be able to see you in a while to get you another one. Put my other plants in the greenhouse. We had a light frost. They are doing great. Cool. I needed all I can get. Only have 13 trees. David, you're so funny. I don't know where you're going to plant them all. Good night. I'm going to do some electrical work now. All right. Have a good night, honey. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I agree with you on the food. Yeah, Brenda, I'm going to tell you something. It amazes me how many chemicals are in our food and things that we are not even aware of that are in there. Friend of mine used to haul this white chalk stuff that's in a lot of food and it's in a lot of other things too that people are allergic to. And you just wouldn't even believe it. Hi, Patty. How's it going, honey? That's all right. I hope you got those beans canned you were canning earlier. Hey, as long as it's a good distraction. So what was I saying? Oh, Patty, we were talking about chemicals in food and how I personally believe that not only does it not that it causes different cancers and stuff, some of the stuff that they put in food, but I also believe that it gives us other illnesses like my rash. And I want you to know, up until about, I think it was about a year ago, I started eating pork and mushrooms again. Before that, from about 18 years of age until now, I did not touch pork or mushrooms because they made me deathly sick. So I just think there's a lot of weird stuff in our food. Let's see here. Oh, you made bone broth and have scraps for the dogs. Yum, yum, yum. Somebody must have got them a deer, maybe? Or are you, what kind of bone broth are you making? I love bone broth. Yeah, me too. In fact, I like homemade bone broth. I do not like I do not like broth that you buy. No, just chicken. Okay. Let's see here. Agree, a lot of stuff polluting our lives. We are reaping it in our health. Yeah. I think the best thing I ever did, and I mean, I loved them. I got off of Dr. Pepper. I was I was so hooked. I was drinking 24 Dr. Pepper a day. And I got it down to the last year I drank them, I got it down to 12 Dr. Peppers a day. And then I started drinking other things with it. And then just one day, I just said, I'm done. I ain't going to drink them no more. And I replaced them with water and didn't drink anything else. I thought about taking and drinking, making sweet tea and all that. And I said, well, why, if I'm going to give up the sugar from the Dr. Pepper, why would I put sweet tea? It's got sugar too. Not as much as what they put, but you know. While 24, I was addicted to Diet Coke, but couldn't afford that many. I couldn't afford it either, but you got to realize, I, how do I say this? When I worked, I made good money. I was a good hairdresser, and I made good money. And I don't have a ton of bills. I take that back. I have a ton of bills now. I did not have any bills other than vehicle payment, house payment, insurance, lights, water. I didn't have any credit cards except for one when I had my heart attack. And because I had to live on nothing, I had to borrow money and stuff from my parents, and it was really hard when I had it was hard because for a year, I think it was about a year, I had to fight Social Security to be able to get Social Security. It's not easy when you're disabled. Even though I had a heart attack and cancer, I still had to fight for it. Anyways, I'm going to get off that subject or else I'm going to be too messed up. And I'm not going to go there. But I'm making ends meet now. I don't bring in very much money at all, but it makes most of my bills. I'm just gonna put it out there. I make $900 something a month, and you can't live off of that nowadays. My house is paid off, praise God. I was able to pay that off in August, so I don't have that payment anymore. I wish I could pay off my truck. I wish I had a smaller payment. I may have to refinance it to be able to make that a smaller payment, because that's my hardest payment to make. Now that the daughter has moved out and she's no longer on my insurance has dropped drastically. Although they're wanting $370, they said, as my first installment for my next 6 months insurance. I don't know why they want a half, because it's my insurance is $777 for 6 months of insurance on my truck. And So it's just really hard. Let's see, what is, yes, I've heard that a lot. Yeah. Brenda said I was addicted to Diet Coke too. Now I don't touch the stuff. Yeah, David's addicted to diet soda too, which frustrates me very badly. I want him to get off of it. It's not, diet soda is even worse for you than the other, from what the doctors and everyone I've talked to says. About hard to get money. Oh, about hard to get Social Security. Um, yeah, because I'm so young. And then after I had it for a year, they send me a thing. I have to re I had to re apply, or I don't know how to say what, not reapply, but I had to send them more paperwork to prove that I'm still disabled. I'm like, okay. And at the time that I had to do that, I was still on a cane. I couldn't walk like I am now. I I I'm just totally disgusted with them. And I prefer to work. I enjoy working. Although I enjoy taking care of the grandkids too. I'm glad that I'm able to do that for my daughter, because um she would not be in her own home now and being able to do what she does if she had to pay somebody to take care of her kids. And I know they're being taken care of and they're safe and sound in there in the bed asleep, and they get to spend extra time with me. And I don't know how long I'm going to have here on earth, and I want to spend all the time I can with them babies and grow and enjoy myself with them. So I'm not going to um I'm not going to step back and not take care of them. My daughter-in-law says to me, "What are you going to do next year, Mom, when they're in school?" I said, well, Lance ain't going to school if they go to our Christian school that we go to church at, because he won't be old enough. They don't have VPK there. And she'd have to put him. I still don't think he's old enough to go in VPK in public school either. So I don't know what she's going to do. But anyways, well, wow. It's already 10:30, guys. I'm so sorry that I've kept you so long. It looks like some people are getting on, though. I know what you mean about your grandkids. I'm doing the same thing for my daughter with watching my grandson. I just don't, personally, I don't think that anybody can take care of our kids and have total confidence. I see these, every time I turn around, I hear incidents, or I'll be at my mom's or somebody's house, and I'll be watching the news or something, and some nanny that they've hired in to take care of their kids in their own home they've got granny cams, and they're beating the crap out of these kids, and they're like, or they're screaming and cussing at them and carrying on. And I just, yeah, I've got a temper, and I get angry at my grandkids when they do stupid stuff, and I may holler at them, but I ain't gonna beat on them and carry on, and I don't want anybody else to touch them like that. I just think that it's um not good. Plus, you take them to the daycare and they take them out, and it's happened here. It's happened here right in town. where they took some kids on a field trip in the summer, brought this little kid back, and she had fallen asleep on the bus. Nobody ever checks the bus. What is that all about? When David and I did vacation Bible school, we did that too. But when we used to run a bus route for the church, every time we got off of that bus, we went down through all the way to the back and checked every single solitary thing. Kids weren't being left on the bus to die in the heat of the summer or any time. Kids weren't being left on the bus, period. How in the world? I don't understand how that happens. But anyways, that being said, I just don't think that anybody is ever going to take care of our own children as good as we do. And unless they really got a yearning for loving children. And all the other scary stuff out there that they do to children, I don't want to even touch on that. So I just want to keep my babies safe. Agree, it is scary out there for childcare. Yes, true. Thank you. I'm glad you agree with me, Brenda. And I know y'all, I'm pretty sure, Brenda, didn't you tell me you take care of some of your grandkids too? I know Teresa does, and I know Patty does. Oh, somebody slipped in here I didn't see. TNS Dogs, Dragonflies Farm. Good evening. Good evening. I'm sorry I missed that. Welcome to my channel. I don't think I know y'all. And you come in on a crazy subject. Anyways, I'm very, very happy to be able to take care of my grandkids. And it just, I know my son was, trying to think how old he was. I think he was about 8 years old when my father-in-law passed away. And my father-in-law used to pick him up every Saturday morning, take him to the grocery store. Well, first they would go to breakfast, and then they would go to the grocery store and buy groceries from my father-in-law. And then they would go to feed the ducks on the way home from the grocery store. And then they would go to my in-laws' house, which was a couple of streets over from us. And they would hang out until the afternoon, and then my son would come home. Well, my son loved his pawpaw so much that I can remember my son saying it when my father-in-law passed away. He said, "I'm going to name my son after pawpaw when I have my son." And that's what he did. As soon as that first grandbaby come on, he named him after his pawpaw, Tommy. We called him Tom, but his real name was Tommy. And I'm not saying that because I want my grandkids to name their kids after me, but I want them to love me and remember me as much as my son does his grandpa, and my children do their grandmother, my mom, and so on and so forth. and David's mom. They remember David's mom really well too. Even Ashley was when Mavis passed away. Ashley was like I think she was like 12 or 14. I'm not sure, but you know, kids. I think kids need that family foundation, that strong growth of family. That's just my opinion. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Brenda. Sorry, so sorry. I remember you saying that to me. I'm so sorry. Um, I have family members I couldn't trust my children with either. Never would. My biological father was not trustworthy. But my stepfather, let me tell you something. My mom found the man that I wish was my father. He was fantastic. Yeah, I agree with you, Teresa. Can't stand the thought of strangers watching my kids. I have a story that I want to tell y'all. When my children were little, I had a family that lived across the street from us, and um, they had kids that were disabled, and um, my Linda was also disabled, and she loved everybody. I worked at Harris Company, and I worked third shift, and David drove a truck, so our shifts kind of didn't work right to where we had to have a babysitter. And his mother did not want to watch the kids. She did not want to take care of them at all unless she had to at that time. And um, so I talked to the lady that lived across the street, and she had kids, and they were really having a rough time. And I said, well, if you want to babysit for me, I will gladly pay you, and I'll pay you good. Um, I had tried some other people, and they didn't work out. I couldn't trust them to be there when I needed them. Wasn't that I couldn't trust them, but my son didn't have a problem going over there, and neither did my youngest daughter, because she was still in. She was just a few. She was just a few months old. Um, but my Linda, who loved everybody, never ever had any problems going anywhere. After going over there the second night, she pitched a fit and she would not go. Well, I freaked out. I didn't know what to do. I took her, picked her up, and carried her and made her go over there. I talked to my mother in law and I said, Mom, I just don't know what to do about this. She is freaking out. I called her and I said, I don't know what to do about this. So my mother in law came and got the kids from them that second night and brought them home because I had to leave for work right then. Come to find out, they were beating these kids that couldn't walk with a belt. And it was pretty bad and pretty scary. So I had gone over and talked to her the mother, about what my daughter said had happened, and she said, yes, it's true. And I guess the father had really given him a good whooping. And I said, well, I have never had this experience. My daughter's seen other kids get spanked, and she's been spanked. So she knows that these things happen, but she's never been afraid of anybody, and I'm not bringing her back over here. And she says, I understand. So it just was really scary. So I didn't really leave my children with anybody that I didn't trust, that wasn't really, really, really super good friends. And I don't know. Hello, Food Forest. How are you tonight? I'm on here longer than I usually am. I'm glad you could join us. We're talking about trusting people with your children. I'm going to, on my way to your house, Teresa, or on my way to hunting. I don't know if I'm going to go to your house or not. Probably go straight to Higgs. But I'm stopping at some friends of mine in Georgia. And they used to be one of the few people that were friends of mine that I even let take care of my children. Yeah, it was a very sad situation. That's good. I agree. All right, Patty, I guess I'll see you next time. I don't know if I should hang on here any longer, or I'm really not tired tonight for some reason. I'm tired, but it's physical tired. I'm not crash tired. And I still need to eat something. I didn't really eat anything much today. I did have um, 2 little meals, but I didn't eat my third meal for the day. But I don't want to eat this late. I just want to get a little watermelon in there and this sapote I'm going to eat. When boys show up for a date, I would show the boys my goose gun, and I never had a problem. Good for you. My, I have to tell you guys, so funny. I mean, so funny. My daughter went on her first date. No, I think it was last week, and I guess maybe she went to the rifle range with this kid too, but she didn't consider that a date, but he considered it was a date. But anyways, so she called me up and we were talking about it, and she said, "Yeah, Mom, he wants to be my boyfriend." I was cracking up. I said, "Wow, he asked you, would you be your boyfriend?" I said, "Oh, okay." She said, "I don't," she told him, she said, "I don't know if I'm ready for that." And she told him that, oh, I forgot to tell y'all about the wedding. But anyways, she told him about the wedding that she was supposed to go to, and he said, "Well, can I go with you? And we can make that a date?" And she said, "I don't think so." So she just left it at that. She didn't think so. So anyways, I told her, I said, "Do you like this boy?" She said, "He's okay." I said, "Well, you'll never, ever get to know if you don't go out with him a few more times." I said, "Why don't you invite him? You're going to have a blast. You'll have somebody to dance with other than me." So, she asked him to come. So I said, she said, well, how do I ask him? Besides, I already told him no. I said, call him up and say, I would love to have you come to this wedding with me for my date. It would be nice to have you do that. And let's get to know each other a little bit more with my family around. See how you get along with my family. So she did. He was a little goofy, I have to say. Goofy cool. He's scared to death of David and me. Ashley told him that her daddy was going to meet him with the shotgun. And he's like, I don't know what else she told him, but he was scared. Scared of me and him and her. I guess he didn't know how to dance. So they're standing there talking back and forth, not knowing how to dance. And I said, you don't know how to dance? He says, no, ma'am. I said, come on. I grabbed a hold of his hand and pulled him out on the dance floor and taught him how to dance. We had a blast. My daughter Becky caught the bouquet. So hopefully her and the baby's daddy gets married, since they did buy a house together. They are planning to spend the rest of their life together. I don't know why they haven't gotten married yet. Let's see. What am I missing here since I'm all gabbing now? Oh, I got rid of my oldest daughter, Stalker, and didn't even have to touch him. Yeah, I remember you telling me that. I would tell the boys that this comes with me when my girls ain't home on time, and some just downright took of like a barn on fire. Took off, I think you meant to say. The ones that stayed married my girls. Good. I never spanked my girls. They just knew to do the right thing. My daddy never hit us, and his dad never did, so we never had corporal punishment. I have to jump in the shower real quick. If you're still on, I'll be right back. Cool. I will leave this running. Cool, thank you. Okay, Teresa. My grandfather never hit us either. He tried to hit me one time, and he'd been drinking, and I think that's the only reason why he went to smack me. He was yelling at me, and my dog bit his arm. Right. Let's see. Can I show this? Right. See where your arm comes up right here on the top? She took a chunk out right there, and I had to sew it up. She was like a little mutt chihuahua mix thing. I don't know what she was mixed with, but much bigger dog. She was pretty good sized chihuahua. But man, was she ever protective over us girls. And when he woke up the next day and wanted to know how he got that sewed up arm, he said, well, I guess I deserved it. But my grandma, it's so funny. My grandma, my grandmother and grandfather had 5 girls, and she would send him in to spank them. And he not only did that with them, but he did that with us too. She'd send him in to spank us, and he would slap his leg with the belt or hit the bed and make it sound like he was spanking us, and we had to scream. He was a mess. That man was a mess. He did not want to spank us, period. I have a very high pain tolerance thanks to my father. Yeah. Yep. I had one of those too. In fact, probably shouldn't. Well, I don't know. He's dead and gone, so it don't matter now. He took my baby's. My dad was so evil. He took my baby sister in a 5-gallon drum and feet. He held her by her feet and pushed her down and drowned her. And um, they they got her to breathing really right away and got him off of her and took her to the hospital. And I don't know what was told. Rex Minor was the one that took her to the hospital, and I don't know what he told them. And my mom was so afraid of him. Of my father. I don't know if she even spoke to them, said anything. But my sister made it, and she's good. So, and my mom got away from him right after that. So he was evil. He was a bad man. So we'll just leave it there. Uh, a preacher at school once asked me why I was smiling for as he was going to whoop me. I told him my daddy told me to tell him that for every time I get hit, daddy will beat him up every day of his life. That's a good one. I believe my daddy, and so did the preacher as he told me to go home. Wow. Um, I'm sorry. Everybody has their own beliefs. I whooped my children. I'm so they took a spanking, and there's not one of them alive today that will say that it it hurt them. I'm good. I'm glad to know. But I didn't beat them. I gave them licks, and they got so many licks for whatever they did, and we talked about it, and they knew what they were getting a spanking for. So that was just the way I was raised. Now my nanny, on the other hand, she'd say, "Go out there and cut me a switch." Well, I have the same Suriname cherries that we grew in my backyard. That was her switch. Um, and she would say, "Go cut me a switch," and we'd have to go cut her switch. And if we didn't get a good one, man, I'm telling you, she'd go out and get it, and you'd get twice as much than what you got. But she would whip me, and I would laugh at her. I was mean as the Dickens. I was. I don't know how she ever. And I was her pick too. Now she loved me so much, and her and I were like two peas in a pod all the time, locked up together, doing this and doing that. She taught me how to cook and sew and clean house and garden. I mean, she was just the top of the notch woman. But I can remember blood running down my legs from where she was hit me with them little switches. And when she'd realize how bad she'd done it, she'd stop and she'd say, "Oh, I just don't know why you have to be so mean." And she'd love me and hold me, and she was a mess. I spanked my kids when they were younger, but I never beat them. They all have turned out well. That's me too. I'm very proud of every one of my children. Same here. Oh, you're back. Difference between whipping and beating. And I didn't whip hard, but just enough to let them know I would. But I was a woman raising 5 daughters alone. Had to get point across. True. And you're just a teeny little thing too, Teresa. I tell you, one time my son, I can't remember how old he was. It was after my father-in-law had passed away. So he must have been about 10 years old because my pastor was at the church. Anyways, I can't remember how old he was, but he was a pretty big boy. We were coming down the hallway and he was arguing with me, and I turned around to say something to him, and he was so mad he was balled up his fists and they were down by his side and he was screaming at me, and I thought he was going to hit me. So I snatched him up by the shirt and I put him up against the wall, and I said, buddy, if you ever think that you're going to hit me, it will be the last person you will hit, because I will get you back, boy. Well, kind of went downhill, and we went on to school that morning, and I don't remember if it was that same day or a couple days later. We were at the store at Walmart, and they had these machines out there. If you put a quarter in it, you could get you a soda. So I gave each one of the kids a quarter, and money was hard to come by back then. So they put their quarters in, and the kids were like, oh, we got all these sodas. We got all these sodas. And I said, what do you mean you got all these sodas? Somebody messed up the machine to where it was just flopping. You put a quarter in it, it'd just tumble out all these sodas. Every single soda in that line would come out. So I said to my son, I said, go in there and get a buggy and get somebody to come out here and get these sodas, because we need to give them to them. And he said, oh, no, we're not either. I got that soda's mine. Those are mine. I paid for that soda. I said, no, you did not. You paid for one soda. Any more than that, son, is stealing. He wasn't having it. He was so mad at me. He was not having it. I said, Becky, that's my youngest at that time. I said, go in there and get one of them people that work for Walmart and tell them it is popping out sodas left and right, and bring out a cart so that we can put them in there and they can take them back in. They can give them to their employees. I don't care. But we did not pay for them. We're not taking them home. Oh, he's mad as a hornet. He took his soda and he went to the car and he sat down and he screamed at me from the time we left Walmart until we were almost home. And it was everything I could do not to pull over and bust his butt right there. And it dawned on me, you know what? If you don't believe this is stealing, son, I'm going to take you to somebody that's going to tell you that I am right and you're wrong. So I took him to the pastor, and pastor talked to him, and pastor talked to him by himself in the thing. So you know how kids are. Whenever they're busted down for something, they're going to tell on somebody else. My mama abuses me. That's what he told the pastor. So I went inside there and I talked to, because the pastor called me and he said, Kathy, I hear you're abusing your son. Tell me about this. He said, Brian told me that um, you, you throwed him up against the wall. I said, uh, let me tell you the scenario. So then I told him the scenario, what happened. Oh my word, you should have seen the pastor turn. I was like, wow, he turned red. He was furious. He said, Brian, you did not tell me the whole story, son. Brian started to cry. And pastor said, let me tell you something. Your mama ever has a problem with you, you ever lay a hand on your mama. And I promise you, I don't care. All your mama have to do is call me. Because I know your daddy's out of town a lot. Because back then he was driving over the road. And he said, I'll come and whip your bottom. Don't you ever touch your mother. So that's where that story went. I don't know how I got off on that. Let's see. My father was a control freak and would do whatever it took to control. But I was hard headed than he was. I was too. They could have beat me to death and I still wouldn't. And I'd laugh at her the whole time that she was spanking me. My father told Paul at our wedding, good luck, I couldn't break her. My pa, let's see, Food Forest said, my pa was in the frozen Cozen in February of 51 with 20,000 of the enemy, outnumbered 40 to 1. When November 11th came around, Daddy would wear his medals and would see all the soldiers look at Daddy in awe. That's awesome. Dad looked like a general. All his medals, kindest man that ever known. Kids can kick up a fuss, that's for sure. Yep, one of mine tried to tell on me before too. They didn't get far enough. This is the old story that I better not tell that story. A friend of mine might get mad. I just won't say it. Anyways, it's not a good thing. It's a good thing, but it's not. I think back in the day, whenever my children growing up, you couldn't spank your kids. Well, you can't. You're not supposed to spank them at all anymore. Couldn't discipline them. You couldn't do anything, because you're so worried that HRS is going to come in and give you some kind of lip a lop. But I've learned now that you have to treat them with respect. They are doing their job, but they don't do, like, I don't know if you guys are aware, I adopted my youngest daughter, and she was not, how do I say this? She was neglected. She wasn't abused. Both of her parents were drug addicts, and I learned a lot from the HRS people. You don't have to technically fear them, and to be honest with you, I don't like their protocols, they were going to give my child back to their parents. And I mean, my daughter's mother, I brought her in our home after my daughter Linda died, thinking that it would help Ashley to adjust to the loss of Linda. Big mistake. She stayed here for probably a couple weeks, I think it was. And my father had given my daughter some money. It was like $20 and change or something. And her mother stole that money and left here, and we haven't seen her since. So my daughter says good riddance. But let's see, where am I at here? I learned real quick how to stop a kid from throwing a fit in the store. Mine tried it once. I threw myself on the floor and threw a fit screaming, I want this and that. They never did it again. Brenda, I could just see you do that too. Honestly, I never had to worry about that. One time, I can't remember which one of my kids it was, picked up some gum out of the thingy. And I'm not even sure, it might have been my nephew who did it, and my daughter, I believe it was my youngest daughter, or maybe it was Linda. Now, I don't remember. I took them, marched them back in there, and made them give it back to them and pay for it. Oh, they were fit to be tied. They cried and cried and cried. Don't make me do that. But I never really had too much problem. And in fact, David and I had a lot of sweet people would come up to us if we took our children out to dinner or anything like that. We never had to worry about them putting too much, like we would go to buffets, and we never had to worry about them putting too much food on their plates that they didn't eat. The waitresses and everybody would always say how wonderful our children were, and I was very blessed. I can't imagine. I've seen kids I wanted to just hang on a hook somewhere and leave them, but that was a good one. I hope you didn't crack a rib laughing. You never know what Brenda's going to say. Anyways, guys, I think I'm going to get off here. It is after 11 o'clock. Wow. Been on here a while tonight. I enjoyed my time with y'all, and I hope you guys have a great night's sleep and a good weekend, and I'll see you back next Wednesday. Take care. I'm going to end this stream. I can believe you really did it, though. Well, this has been a great pleasure to have chatted with all y'all. Much love and respect. Spread peace and love wherever you may find yourself. Thank you. Night, Teresa. Night, Food for us. Hope you guys have a great night. Bye now. I love you too, Teresa.